One of our dear friends on this show is Gilbert Gottfried. He's stopping by to say hello. We haven't seen him in a while. Richard Jeni is also here. Richard Jeni is going to be at Caroline's Comedy Club. This guy's funny.
How do comedians get along with each other?
Oh, yeah. Well, Richard and Gilbert are going to get married, I think. Here comes Gilbert. Everybody loves Gilbert, except his mother.
Gilbert looking dapper as ever.
Gilbert, you're dressing so much better. That shirt with the alligator. I've never seen one of those before.
Where'd you get it?
Can I call their eyes on? Where'd you get such a snappy shirt? Golf shirt. Are you golfing now?
It's not even an alligator. It's more like some dinosaur.
Is it like a knockoff?
It is.
Yeah.
It's not even a real Izod shirt.
Not a real dinosaur on it.
Where do you get a shirt like that? Do you shop?
Oh, I shop at only the best place.
No, do you, or does your mother buy that stuff for you?
Yeah. No, I don't know how I wind up.
Do you get those on the street, or?
Because I know Gilbert doesn't go clothes shopping. I just know. How do you get your clothes? Seriously, where do they come from?
Well, there's stuff I can steal from TV shows.
Because when he was in the hospital, remember, he wanted me to go buy him underwear and pajamas.
Yeah, he sends anybody to go shopping.
Yeah, I mean, I know you don't go shopping. You should be on one of those reality shows. I'm telling you, it would be fascinating. Do you know Richard Jeni?
Oh, yes.
You do?
Yes.
You have any respect for him?
Oh, absolutely not.
No. you think you're the world's funniest comedian, don't you?
I'm the only one.
You're funnier than Richard Jeni?
Yeah. Oh,
Richard, don't you do a routine on Gilbert or something? You do an impression of him, don't you?
I do an impression of him?
Yeah.
I get my clothes from TV shows and whatever else.
That's pretty good. I like that. Do you like
to hang out together? I used to hang out with him because I had a car. And he's the cheapest guy that ever lived. You know what?
He would use you?
I don't really like Richard Jeni, but he's got a car.
Have you been to Gilbert's apartment?
No one has.
Well, I know a guy who went there. Richard Belzer went there. And
How
he
did
said
Richard Belzer get it?
he somehow Gilbert slipped up and let Richard in.
Wow.
They say it's frightening. And I think Ratzo's seen the apartment too, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and Ratzo's no big spender, but supposedly Gilbert's...
He was upset with Gilbert?
Yeah, Gilbert's apartment supposedly is a room littered with, like, Chinese takeout cartons.
You don't throw anything on.
And like you know those lawn furniture?
It's like a serial killer.
You know those chairs you open up on the beach? A chaise
Like
lounge
with
one?
the plastic weaved...
Yeah, that's his furniture. And he has one TV in the bedroom or something, and you just got a VCR, what, like a year ago?
Yeah, something.
Is it a big television?
I just got a toaster a year ago.
Why are you so cheap, though? I mean, why? I mean, you're going to die with all this money.
Yes.
Do you have a depression mentality?
Oh, yes. Yeah, because I was through that.
Yeah.
No, he's just depressed.
When I used to work the Coconut Grove with Eddie Cantor.
Are you one of those guys afraid your show business career is going to dry up at any minute?
Oh, my career drying up.
No, you've made
Isn't that redundant?
You've made a lot of money. I mean, you make a lot of money. I mean,
Yeah.
you do. You're a
And
wealthy
he's
guy.
got every last cent.
Yes.
Do you?
I have my dollar taped to the wall like a Greek coffee
Well, Hollywood
shop.
Squares pays you now a salary, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because you're on like every day.
And
Yeah.
where does that go, Gilbert?
Well, I give it to charity.
Have you ever donated to charity? Be honest. Have you ever given anything to charity?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, if we went back and looked at your tax
Your
form,
tax return.
would it ever say, like, gave to the poor?
Like I did a cartoon for Channel 13 recently, and that's how I got the tote bag and umbrella.
I see. You won't even donate for that.
Yeah.
So you're a cheap man.
Yes.
And you... And Richard, you've hung around. Have you seen him get laid? Does he get girls or not?
Here, one night, I don't know if he can tell you the end because I never found out what happened.
Well,
Me and him are...
Oh, he's so honest. He'll tell you everything. Yeah.
Oh, no, this one I know.
We're sitting in front of Catch a Rising Star in my car.
Because comics just hang around comedy clubs?
Because he's cheap and I had a car, so he would hang out with me.
Right.
So I was sitting in front of Catch, and this beautiful girl, and not exactly, really like a model level woman, sticks her head in the car and goes, "Are you Gilbert Gottfried?" And he goes, "Yeah." And she goes, "You're my favorite comedian." And he goes, "All right, thanks." And she goes,
I sound like the dog from Soupy Sam.
Don't say that it's perfect.
Right.
And she goes, she says, "Listen, I'd like to buy you a drink. I'd love to get to know you." And he goes, I don't know. And she goes, "No, really, I wouldn't." I'm like elbowing him, like, "Get out of the car."
Gilbert is playing hard to get.
Yeah, I love this. Yeah, well, I'm a big star. I can't just go off with you.
Because he might blow the free ride.
Yes.
So I'm sitting there, and I go, Gilbert, you gotta go.
At the very least, she wants to buy him a drink.
Yeah.
So
By
he
him.
looks her straight in the eye, and I gotta change one of the words.
Yes.
He goes, what are my chances of banging you?
Really?
I use the F word.
Right.
And she doesn't even blink, and she goes, well, actually, not very good. I just want to get to know you. So finally, I get him out of the car, and he goes. And the next day, I see him, and I go, how did it go? And he goes, it was weird. And I said, well, what happened? And she says, I said, do you want to go to my place? And she goes, no. And I said, how about your place? And she goes, no. And I said, where do you want to go? And she goes, take me to the emergency room.
Take me to the emergency room.
What
Yeah,
happened?
see, because first we're talking.
Yeah.
We're talking, she buys me a drink.
And you just went,
No, I really want to talk to her. I want to find out about her acting career.
but don't you want to? Don't you want to play the game a little bit and come off charming so you can get her into bed?
Why, Bob?
No.
So we're talking, and it's like, then somehow I sort of, I maneuver something in the conversation to somehow get me invited over to her place.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. So I think this sounds good. And then we're sitting in the bar for a while longer, and then she goes, well, let's go. And I thought, okay. And I said, to your place? And she goes, no, to the emergency ward.
And what goes on? What?
Some kind of, and on top of everything else, it was some sort of vaginal thing.
Oh, really?
She had
She had a penis.
yeah.
She had a real.
Why she sat there with you?
Yeah. So it was a real turn on.
Wow. Isn't that called menstruation, Gilbert?
No, it's gushing.
It's really weird. There's this girl, and every month weird things go on.
Although
bleeding.
Gilbert, I gotta explain the facts of life to you.
this one was
Right,
beyond.
this is unusual.
Yeah, this
Okay.
one was like inflammation and burning.
Ooh, and she tells you
blood.
this at the bar.
Yes. Yeah.
But she had to stop for a drink with you first.
Yes.
Did you apply a tourniquet?
Yeah.
It's the least you can do.
And then a couple of times she came in to catch after that and used to come over and talk to me, and by then I was already
You're not going to mess with that thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Did you take her to the emergency room?
She paid for the cab,
So you went with
So
her.
I just went along for the ride.
What an interesting night.
Accompany her inside.
And
Wow.
yeah, so I remember she used to come in to catch a lot, and she'd come over and talk to me. By then,
And she was
no way I
beautiful.
can get an erection.
Right.
Yeah,
You can barely get one as it is.
exactly.
Right.
But
And
she was beautiful.
so, Richard, you would hang around with Gilbert? I would think that would be a very unsatisfying friendship. I mean, Gilbert should take
Gilbert
her.
really thought
And Gilbert takes, and you would have to give, I would assume.
That was more or less it. But we used to sit in front of his house. Where'd you live, on Avenue A or something?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Give out his address.
Yeah,
Great.
That was then.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't give the exact.
Yeah.
It's 12:31.
Is that where cheap apartments are?
I guess. I mean,
back in
Speaking of
those
taking,
days.
I never got a tape of Son of the Beach.
Yeah, we don't want to give it to you.
Yeah.
you were on again, a matter of fact.
Yeah, they showed it a few times.
Yeah, it's called Get a Television Set and tape it yourself.
You got a VCR now.
Yeah, we'll get you a tape.
Yes.
It's coming any day now.
Yeah, exactly.
We're very funny in it.
Yeah.
Is the television
But we're never asking you back.
Yeah.
But is the television set at least a big one, or is
No.
it just...
Yeah.
How big is your set?
It's black and white Philco.
It's a really small set. But seriously,
and I still watch Sid Caesar on it.
but Richard, weren't you disgusted with Gilbert after a while? I mean, did you stop it? Do you call him now that you live in L.A., or did you guys stay in touch on any level?
No, I never get to talk to Gilbert anymore. But one of the things, we kind of bonded over this girl. There was this girl singer there that was really hot, that we both wanted.
Right.
So instead of actually doing anything with her, we would sit in my car and do imaginary courtroom scenes where the defense for us doing her was based on the size of her vagina, and we would
Wow.
bring various witnesses on.
So that's the kind of fun you have with Gilbert. I would think, though, hanging around with Gilbert, when there's a girl you both want, you easily win out over Gilbert, right?
Don't forget, I had a 76 Nova. So
If you lose the girl, if you lose the girl to Gilbert, you got to feel pretty bad.
yes, you do.
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
you do.
Because Gilbert,
One of us got her.
you have very little success with women, right? So,
But what happened to his girlfriend? Didn't he have a girlfriend?
Most of my time I spend running.
are you still with the girlfriend? Do you still have that girlfriend?
Who knows?
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
going
come
to give you
on.
a straight answer. Oh, come on.
You still with a young lady?
I like how you act annoyed, like that's going to make me give the real answer.
No, but you.
I
not,
annoyed
though?
him.
What is wrong with saying I have a girlfriend?
Yeah, who are you keeping away?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's afraid the other girls won't want him. I mean, really.
Well,
I mean, really,
She was a nice
Gilbert.
girl. I mean, I was shocked.
It's like how Fabian and all those teen stars don't want people to know they
that they're married.
But yeah, it's true. It's the Gilbert mistake.
Like how John Lennon, it was bad when they said he was married on Sullivan.
His agent told him to say that.
Don't ever admit to having a girl.
Gilbert, at least you have a philosophy in show business.
Yes.
Never admit to being with one girl.
Yeah.
So, but the girl I met was very normal. So there are girls you will take the time out to get to know them and learn their personalities.
Yes.
Does he invite them to the house with the lawn furniture?
Where do you entertain the young lady? Richard, if you were friends with him, how is it you never ended up in his apartment?
It's Gilbert Gottfried. Come on. You're not doing anything normal with Gilbert Gottfried.
Did you pay for everything when you were friends with him? Did you have to take him to dinner and drive everywhere?
It was dropping him off down in the Alphabet City type of relationship.
So he would call you up and say, listen, I need a ride somewhere, and you would come pick him up?
I wish he would. Yeah. No, it never got to that point.
Right.
I took Sam Kennison to the airport when he had to get out of town.
Right.
Because nobody had a car. You know, I was like the only idiot from Brooklyn that had a car, so I got people to hang out with me. It wasn't funny.
Gilbert wouldn't pay for a cab and take himself there.
No.
No. All right. That's impossible.
This new guy around here is not funny, but he's got a car.
Right. What is it?
I'm wondering what Gilbert's apartment looks like these days, because the way I heard it used to look was there was like lawn furniture in there. But
That's what we've been talking
But
about.
also he had a...
He just came in
He
late.
used to have bakery trays. You know when you go to a bakery?
Yeah.
Right? You know, that they keep on...
Those big metal
Yeah.
things.
That's where I cook the body parts.
I was told that you had one of those in there and that you used to keep all the stuff you got, like every time you go on Arsenio or one of those shows, you'd get like a little gift package, and that you kept them on these big bakery trays.
I definitely have a lot of crap from those shows.
Yeah. Do you ever buy anything? Or no.
Most of my stuff says like Arsenio or Leno or
Do
something.
you have any special sort of extravagances? Are you into like chocolates?
Well, clothes.
Your clothes are- No, but really, I mean, do you have any? I mean, you don't have a computer,
Toy
right?
trains,
Do you have a
anything?
hobby?
None.
No, seriously. Like,
No hobby.
Like even comic books or something?
Nothing.
What do you do all day?
Fabergé egg?
No, you got me.
No, really, like, what did you do yesterday? What was your day? Give me what time did you wake up
Yeah,
yesterday?
let's see. I wake up, and then it's like, I've told you this before, it's like lying in bed and then wondering how bad I have to pee before I get out of
But
bed.
is it like noon when you wake up?
It varies.
Right.
Yeah.
But you're not an early riser. I can't see someone in your physical condition rising
Getting up
early,
early.
like starting the
You
day.
gotta work to have a body like mine.
Are you depressed? Are you a depressed guy?
Oh, no, I'm just
seriously.
happy as hell.
No, I mean, like when you wake up, you go, wow, another day.
I go whoop-de-doo.
Right.
Yeah.
Wakes up singing.
Do you ever say to yourself, gee, I don't know why people want to live. I want to die. You ever do that?
Most people say that when they see me.
Have you ever done any sort of have you ever tried the exercise thing at all, a gym or anything like that?
Do you ever walk around?
I walk.
Have you ever like tried to lift weights?
Because I don't see Rich Jeni anymore. So
Have you ever tried to-
I have to walk now places.
Do you ever lift weights?
Trainer or just lift weights a small thing?
Yeah, well, can't you tell by my physique?
No,
have
he
you ever
wouldn't
tried?
pay. He wouldn't pay for it.
Yeah, you're right.
Right. Did you ever go to a Nick Romanoff running clinic?
He's not doing that. He's not counting cashews.
Right.
I met the girlfriend. I mean, I don't know if she's still your girlfriend, but I met her a couple times. She's very nice and she's very normal. Like, is it a normal relationship? Do you go out and pay for dinner?
Oh, sure, only the best places. Having on the green with syrup. Yeah.
You go to Chanterelle?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
He's at all the hot spots.
You're amazing.
Places where you have to wear a jacket.
Yeah, you like getting your fancy clothes on.
Yeah, he doesn't even belong to the Friars Club or anything like that, huh?
No, he belongs to Tavern on the Roy Rogers.
Yes. Where I run into Gwyneth Paltrow there.
Do you ever hang around with celebrities?
Okay, let me tell you the celebrity. I've had, I think, 3 celebrities up to my apartment.
Good.
Really?
Okay, well,
Belzer.
Richard Belzer.
He's hardly a celebrity.
Yeah, I know.
Questionable if you've had 3.
But that's nice of you to call him a
Let's hear
celebrity.
I know.
Number
The first 2 are stretching, but there's Richard Belzer, Penn Jillette.
Okay, Penn and Teller.
Yeah. And not even the whole Penn and Teller.
Just Penn.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, that's a celebrity. Go ahead.
It's like having
And that-
half of Allen and Rossi.
I heard the third celebrity
Rossi.
was the fat guy from Hollywood Squares, the gay one.
Bruce Valanche.
Yes,
Did you
yes, he's my masseuse. Yes.
He loves the man. No, who is the third celebrity?
I actually had Uma Thurman.
Ooh,
Yeah.
now you're talking.
Yeah.
How did you get Uma up to your apartment?
Very nothing story, though,
Yeah,
but
no.
she was actually up there.
Glad
she
you
was
brought
like
it
a
up.
friend of a friend.
What was it, a roofie involved? Or?
Did you meet her on the internet?
Was she conscious when she was in the apartment?
Handcuff her and beat her?
I went for a drink with Gilbert. I woke up the next morning, my ass hurt. I don't know what what kind of alcohol this was.
But do you have people, like, even not celebrities, just friends up to your place? Like, hey, come on over, we're going to hang out at my place?
No.
Oh, yeah.
How does he invite Uma Thurman to the lawn chair?
Oh, no, someone else was coming over, and she was a friend of theirs.
Oh.
But I can actually say she was up there.
Did you make your move?
Oh, of course, yeah.
Seriously,
Of
did you
course
try
I
anything?
nailed her, yeah.
How long did you stay in that apartment?
Did you do your Groucho impression there?
Hi, Elmer. You know, years ago, we would stay at these boarding houses. But they didn't have hotels at these places that we worked at. They would more be boarding houses where they'd put up people who would just stay. They would charge you 35 cents, and that included breakfast and dinner. And that was pretty expensive.
You would see Groucho on these talk shows, and he would talk to you like you're
so scared.
100 years old.
Why did he wear a beret to the day he
He
died?
just was not funny anymore. And Dick Cavett would ask me, you couldn't think of anything funny to say. He was completely burnt out. And he would just start going into these rambling stories about 35 cents at a boarding house.
Do you remember the very, very last interviews you would see, which weren't even from Dick Cavett? Somebody had interviewed him, but he had the beret. He had almost no face left, and some hot wife would hold his arm and sort of help him along.
Yeah, nurse.
Yeah, I think it was his wife.
He didn't get married.
No, it was a nurse.
Oh, he had that so-called girlfriend.
Right.
Yeah.
She would help him along and remind him of what he forgot.
Erin Fleming. And she was an actress.
Oh, is that right? Is that right, Groucho?
Yeah, she was an actress, and she worked with Woody Allen and people like that. And 2 years ago, we would meet an actress in shows that we would do. Now, back then...
They would court back then and date the actresses?
Well, that's what you would do. You would take them on a date. And that's what they would do back then.
Did you have sex with any of them, Groucho?
We would have sex, because back then, back then you would see a girl and she would be attractive, and men would react sexually.
Did they have anal
Would you have anal back then?
We would have anal sex.
No, they
with
hadn't discovered that.
With these, back then,
Back then they had anal
back
sex.
then, anal sex was described as anal sex, and we would.
But he was the first one to do a Baba Booey impression. You were the first one.
I got someone on the phone. I heard a story.
Let's go to Rich. There's a lot of people who are anxious to speak to Gilbert.
What do you do when you get invited to Gilbert's apartment? What do you do? You serve your people?
You head for Z Hills.
Don't you assume the second you walk into Gilbert's apartment, like the big lumber goes down on the door?
No, would you ever offer someone like a drink? Like when people come to my apartment, I say, could I get you something to drink?
Yeah, I'd say the water faucet's in the other room.
Right.
Yeah.
He'd charge him for a drink.
Yeah, it's like coming up to mine is like visiting the Munsters.
Rich, you're on the air.
Hey, good morning, Howard.
Hey.
Great as always.
Thanks.
I just wanted to say,
Chris Christopherson's on.
yo, kick Whoopi's ugly, unfunny ass out of that center square already, brother, because you're way better.
What about that, Gilbert? Do you hate...
Are you going to kick Whoopi's unfunny ass out of that square?
Yeah, what about that? What's going... I don't watch Hollywood Squares a lot. Ever since you got on, I stopped watching. What's going on the show?
You only watched it when Jim J. Bullock was on.
Listen, he knew how to dominate that square.
Yeah.
He had a magic.
Have rain in
Gilbert
your
have it better
square
than
or
that
anything.
guy. Come on, man.
Right. And what about Jackie? Will he be coming back to Hollywood Squares?
I told you what happened.
What happened there? I forget it. I don't even want to go into it. I don't want to go.
He loves this.
Everybody on the show is like a great crowd. Everyone on the show would say a line, and the crowd is like cheering and laughing, and then I would say a joke, and they're all like cheering and laughing, and then Jackie would say something, they would be like dead. And then it went to the next question, and they're like everyone, like Whoopi says something, everyone's laughing. I say something, they're like laughing and applauding. He says something again, dead.
Oh.
And then it's like we're going into the commercial, and Jackie turns to me disgustedly, and he goes, boy, this is a terrible crowd, isn't it? They really suck.
Well, anyway. It's hard to believe. There probably was a bad crowd. Darren, you're on the air.
Hello.
Hi. You're on with Gilbert Gottfried, considered to be the comedian's comedian.
Yes.
Which means most people don't like him. The audience. Actually, Gilbert will be at Caroline's Comedy Club tomorrow night in Manhattan. Go to carolines.com for ticket info.
Let's hope a lot of comedians aren't.
Yeah.
You're on the air. Go ahead.
Hi, Gilbert Gottfried. He was in Pickering, which is a little town outside Toronto, though not too long ago. And I seen him at the strip club, and he was sitting right in Pervert's Row.
Yeah.
And he took the ugliest girl into the VIP lounge.
Did you go to a strip club in Toronto and take an ugly girl in there with you?
Not only did I go to a strip club, like it's so shocking that I'd be in a strip club.
Hey, you go in there, you pay girls, and they take their clothes off.
Is it a fetish to get
I love the idea that someone calls up and says, I saw Gilbert in the strip club.
Right.
Like, wow, we
Nobody's
never
surprised.
did.
Well, you know why it's interesting? Because you seem so private and so guarded about this ridiculous private life of yours.
I actually, in Canada, went to a swap party.
Oh,
What?
Yes.
You see, you have interesting experiences,
Yes.
but you're so reluctant to talk about them. Now, give us a glimpse of that.
Swap party.
I was in Ajax, Canada, wherever that is.
And you had a girl with you?
No. This is my celebrity
Oh,
stuff.
I see. Because usually to swap, you have to have a girl with you to swap out.
Exactly.
You had nothing.
With me, they said, look, who are we kidding?
Right.
So this one comedian at the club says, like, after the show, there's going to be a swap party going on.
Okay.
And it's like, usually you have to have...
Gilbert's like, well, if I trade my shirt, what do I get back? So Gilbert went out and shot a moose and dragged it in. So go ahead. Yes.
And he says, also a story that doesn't end with...
Go ahead. So you go to the swap party.
But he says, usually you cannot get in unless you have someone with you, but, you know, my celebrity status.
Well, you're a big star.
He's on Hollywood Square.
Yeah, after
So
all.
it was one of these things that we're driving around for a long time trying to find this place.
And you're interested in this?
Of course.
Yeah, okay.
Who wouldn't be?
Right.
You might get something.
Yeah. And then
Doubt
like I had a strip mall, you know, just all these stores there, and it's like one of the storefronts says closed. And we go in that one, and there's like a bar, and in the middle of, first we see some black girl walking around in her underwear who's the hostess.
Was she hot?
Yeah, she would look good. And then
Was she very dark-skinned?
yes.
She was.
Yes, dark skin and white underwear.
Oh. Darker than,
Great
let's say,
contrast.
Whoopi? All right, so a dark-skinned black woman
Yes.
in white underwear.
And then I saw there were two girls, these two women dancing together topless.
Oh.
Are they good
And-
looking?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there was like another girl joins them, and she takes her top off, and they're like the three are dancing together on the dance floor.
And the three of them have like three guys with them?
They're all dancing just with each other.
Wow.
Where are the guys?
No, there are guys there too, and then it's like,
So did you take your top off?
oh yeah, yes, and that's when the party ended.
No, so the girls are dancing topless.
So then I'm like standing there just watching this, and then at one point, like, all three of them run over to me and surround me, and they go and they start yelling out, "Oh, you're Gilbert Gottfried. We've seen you on TV." And it was like,
That's the one time you don't mind that.
yeah.
Okay.
Although at that party it was like a little weird.
And then they said, can you
Yeah.
take us to
Wait a second. So the girls are dancing around topless. They say, "Oh, Gilbert Gottfried,
Yes.
we see you." And then what happens?
That's basically it.
You didn't
I
do
told
anything
you,
with
it's
them?
Not, it was, I don't know, it was a very creepy atmosphere.
How long did you stay there?
Not very long.
You know you were being
Yeah.
photographed. It's got to be.
Oh, of course, of
Right.
course.
Wow. Well, and that's
the
the
end of that
story?
story? Well, you asked me, so
Why
I
would you
told
leave, though?
Yeah.
Why would you leave? I don't understand. It looks like things are starting to heat up.
Yeah, no, I mean, you could have done something there, but the whole place was just too weird.
Did anyone touch your privates?
Oh, no.
No.
No, they touched my generals.
You went to a swap party. Girls were dancing around you naked, and you left.
Pretty much.
All right. Well, that's a great
You
story.
went to the strip club. Was the girl you took in the VIP room ugly?
No. That's, and actually someone bought that for me.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh.
Well, there you go. Two really horrible stories.
Yes.
So he didn't even pay for his trip to the VIP club in there.
All right, let me see what else Gilbert's up to. Among recent Gilbert entertainment projects,
Their project.
it has been reported that Gilbert is rumored to become the host of the new syndicated version of Weakest Link. Is that true?
That's something everyone called me about. There was an article in the Post, and it's like no one told me that.
And your career is skyrocketing.
Oh, yeah.
What do you do? The weakest link.
Let me hear you be the host of it. So you're not going to be the host of it. No one would put you on a show like that.
Well, he could insult
There's too much money to lose.
Right. It says here that you play a paperclip on a Microsoft commercial. Congratulations.
You know when Gilbert is best? When you can't see him.
Yeah. And then I did a bunch of water commercials.
You did for Perrier.
Poland Spring.
And Poland Spring.
Yeah, I heard him.
I've
Really
heard
good.
those.
Look at you.
Yeah.
Why would they hire you?
Why would they hire you?
And no, actually, that's a big deal. You get paid a lot of money for that.
Yeah.
You still doing the parrot?
And a bunch of cartoons for PBS.
Right.
Called Cyber Chase.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And you're also going to appear in a movie with Britney Spears. Is that true? Your first starring role with Britney Spears? Is that true?
Yeah. You could technically say that.
Well, what do you mean? What do you mean by
I
that?
never ran into her on the set. I think she was in the movie for about a second and a half.
Oh, I see. So you did do a Britney Spears movie.
Yeah, it's like, well, she's there for a second and a half. And
It's not a Britney Spears movie.
And I think there are two members of NSYNC in it. It's like the guy who produced the movie is this guy who produces all these
Boy
bands.
band. We had him on, Perlman, yeah.
Yeah, that's the guy.
Is there any project you'll turn down?
Yeah, no. I mean, this movie was made about 4 years ago, but I guess they're waiting for just the right time to release it.
Right. Milton, you're on the air.
Yeah, Howard.
For a thing.
He gets a lot of money. He's very, very into band. Milton, go ahead. You're on the air.
Yeah, well, Howard, how you doing?
Yeah.
Listen, I was at Kutcher's Country Club on Saturday night, and Richard Petty was there.
Who's Richard Petty?
No, who's the guy you got there?
Richard Jeni.
Yeah, Richard Jeni. Let me tell you something. This guy was as funny as hell.
Yeah.
You know how it is having a guy like Richard telling dirty jokes to all 80-year-old Jewish alpacacas?
Really?
Yeah. You know, he was
Richard is very funny. That's why he's here.
Richard was hilarious. He kept the crowd and those alpacacas off their chairs for almost an hour.
All right, thank you. That's nice of you to say.
He's a great comedian, and it was worth every penny going up there to see him.
That's Rich's agent.
Yeah.
Richard was fantastic, especially when he was telling the animal jokes.
All right, thank you. Well,
I like when he says, especially when he's telling the animal jokes, like everyone goes, oh, yes, those animal jokes.
Everybody knows Richard's
a duck walks in. Jim, go ahead.
Morning, Howard. I'm a little upset, hearing Gilbert doing commercials. I have stopped patronizing two quality products, mainly Subway sandwiches and Deer Park water, until he is yanked. And those bread trays, they're from day-old bread that the Subway pays them for doing the commercials.
You are going to ban products where you hear Gilbert's voice?
Yes, I'm not going to patronize Subway or Deer Park water until he's yanked.
Well,
I like that he's got a political stand.
Why? What is Gilbert doing to you?
Yeah.
It's just, yes. I can't take it.
You can't take his
I
ass.
like a guy who takes a stance. He's not going to eat sandwiches.
All right, let's go to, he's going to avoid all Subways.
He's going to cross the street and go to Blimpies as a political statement.
How many other voiceover guys had that kind of impact, though?
Right.
One thing not to use the product, but to actively boycott.
Yes.
Way to go, Gilbert. Let's go to Chris. Chris, you're on the air.
Even that guy Jared is not eating the sandwich.
Go ahead, Chris.
Good morning, Howard. Good morning, Robin. Belcher, who cares? Gilbert.
Yes.
When you did that Bloodsucker sketch, I literally crashed my car into some bushes outside.
You're talking about Dracula Gottfried?
Oh, man. And I had to take the bus for 2 months, but it was worth it.
You crashed your car when Gilbert did his vampire.
Yes, I was laughing, and I crashed into some bushes backing out of my driveway. I had to take the bus for 2 months. And now every time I see my friends, they go, "Hey, I'm Gilbert Gottfried," and they make fun of me. And
well, it's true. The vampire, when you become Dracula Gottfried, it is your greatest moment.
A woman on Hollywood Squares crashed a car during that bit.
Is that right?
Yeah.
How many car crashes occurred when you do Dracula
I like
Gottfried?
to kill people. Yeah.
So, Gilbert, could you do a little of that Dracula for me, since you destroyed my car and all?
Well, I mean, an artist like Gilbert,
It takes time to prepare.
he's working into it.
I need the scary music.
Well, I'll tell you what, Gilbert, we're going to do is take a break, and maybe you'll stay here with me and Richard, Jeni, and Robin, and we'll do the news together, and maybe Dracula Gottfried will appear.
Maybe he'll stop in.
That would be great. That
To
would be
meet Dracula Gottfried.
I was watching, you know that show, Actor Studio?
Yes.
They had on Mike Myers, and he keeps asking him, goes, so if Garth were here, let me talk to Garth.
Oh, so annoying.
Isn't that awful?
And then you don't want to do Garth.
Let me talk to Austin Powers. I want to see what Austin thinks.
You know, I
He
would think
did that to Whoopi Goldberg.
Well, you know what?
Too. Now,
Let me talk. Then let me.
Oh, let me talk to the Swedish girl.
You know what I think of? Let me talk to Johnny Carson, because I'm trapped on PBS Hell with you.
Bravo, thank you.
Unbelievable.
I didn't mean to hamper your artistic genius.
Gilbert, let me hear a little bit of Dracula Gottfried.
Yeah. Well, but he wouldn't say, let me hear a little bit of it. It would be like, I want to speak.
I want to interview Dracula Gottfried. And
what do you think of being here, Dracula?
and and the worst lead-in. See,
awful.
I want to speak. No, I want to speak to the guy from Austin Powers, and then he gets the guy from Austin Powers. He has nothing to ask him.
The worst lead-in, the worst joke killer was one time Don Rickles was on with Barbara Walters.
Right.
And Barbara Walters goes, "You're known as an insult comedian, so go ahead, insult me." And it's like, so it's death.
Right. Oh, like, what do you say to her?
Yeah.
Except that, all right, you're a filthy Jew. All right, listen.
Surefire left. You're a filthy Jew.
How's that for an insult, honey?
Yeah, a porno star. You're known as a porno star.
Gilbert, you do the voice of a paperclip. Let me hear what the paperclip is thinking right now.
I want the paperclip to sit in front of me.
I'd like to introduce the
paperclip. No, you're the paperclip, aren't you?
What's wrong with that guy?
He's
Could
horrible.
he suck any more ass than...
He's scarier than Dracula Gottfried.
I like when he goes, Bobby De Niro, you are so great. You, in fact, when you move your bowels, gold bullion comes out.
It smells like a bouquet of flowers.
Right. But Bobby, when you were doing Godfather...
No, he goes, and then you did a little thing.
Called The Godfather.
And if none of you... Oh, and then he acts like he's the one who saw it. He's the one who did a little thing called The Godfather, and if none of you have seen this, it's really worth renting or doing anything.
20-minute build-up, then he finally says to him, what was going through your mind when when Francis Ford Coppola asked you to do The Godfather? Well, you know... The guy has nothing to say.
I like how lately... Because, at first it was all like De Niro and Pacino and people like that.
Now it's anybody.
Now we're down to Sally Field.
Yeah.
What was it like?
I saw Val Kilmer.
What was it?
Val Kilmer reading his audition for Juilliard.
Oh, my God. Sally Field's like, I met Burt Reynolds in 1964, and we did that awful car movie together.
But if Burt Reynolds or... Oh, if Bill Murray
was here.
If
Sister Petrillo was here, what would she say? I would put on my hat and fly out of here.
Tired flying.
The Mike Myers one was the first time they'd ever done 2 hours. It was a special 2 hours.
Oh, yeah.
An hour for De Niro, but 2 for Mike Myers.
He showed 3 hours with Sally Struthers. Sally, what was it like when you saved the children?
We have London Lee.
London Lee, you were known as the poor little rich boy, but what about London Lee, the private man?
Yes. Can we speak to him? Can we speak to the poor London Lee?
Next week.
We had the Hudson brothers on.
Next week, Ralph Mouth from Happy Days.
Now, you used to be...
Ralph Mouth. If Ralph Mouth were here, of course you are Donnie Most, but
now you're Don Most.
Why has it changed? Well, you know, and now, if I could speak to Ralph Mouth, I'd like to ask him a few questions.
What was it like? Were you friends with Ponzi?
How did you become Ralph Mouth? What process did you go through?
Is that your idea?
Take us back to the day you auditioned for Ralph Mouth. And what did you think when you met Fonzie?
We have Lamont from Sanford and Son.
Next week, rerun. In our Black Comedian series.
We have both sons from the Jeffersons.
Ted McGinley of the Love Boat, we're honored to have you here.
Can we speak to you as your character?
Yeah, what do you want to drink there, man? All right, we got to take a break. When we come back, perhaps the news, Richard Jeni, Gilbert Gottfried, at Caroline's tomorrow, Comedy Club, and we'll be... When you...
Dracula were
How old are you? If Dracula were here, what would Dracula...
And if you've never been to a comedy club in your life or seen a comedian, I suggest you do so.
That's him. That's him.
We're going to take a break. We'll be back right after these words. Richard Jeni's here as well, and he'll be at Rascals Comedy Club in West Orange, New Jersey, Wednesday and Thursday. We'll be back.
All right.
The Howard Stern Show.
Two funny comics here. Richard Jeni at Rascals Wednesday and Thursday, and Gilbert Gottfried tomorrow at Caroline's Comedy Club, carolines.com for info. Who wouldn't want to see both those guys? You guys ought to team up, do a two-man show, like Abbott and Costello. He's so funny.
You're going to let him push you around with that radio? You turn it back up.
Robin, we're ready to do news. Gilbert and Richard joining us, but on our phone, on our newsmaker line, straight from prison, Abe Hirschfeld, who at one time ran for mayor. Sorry, I messed that up.
Howard Stern exclusive.
Abe Hirschfeld is calling from prison. He went to jail. Why, Robin?
I think he was accused of trying to kill somebody?
Yes. Sometimes that'll land you in jail.
He was paying somebody to kill somebody.
Dude's like 80 years old. He's in jail. And he, of course, is innocent, he claims. And he even says jail is not a horrible thing. He's getting through it. But he wants to make a statement.
Why would someone in jail say they're innocent if they're not?
Mr. Hirschfeld, I'll give you a couple of seconds here to get your word out to the public. You must have an important message if you're locked behind bars.
I tell you, I'm very happy to talk to you because you used to be a steady customer in scores, and I built the vertical plan, and I own the vertical plan. I am in jail only because a group of about 3-4 people, they specialize in stealing properties from their partners. Saja and Stanley stole the Apple Bank. They stole 60 of the nicest buildings in New York.
How'd they do that?
Bank building on Park Avenue, the Ansonia Hotel, and 18 East 78th Street, the whole block. And now they're trying to steal from me, and I'm the first one that is defending himself, and for the time being, they are not succeeding.
So
About 8 years ago, I sat down with store Judge Tompkins ordered us. We should settle. I said, Stanley, I'll give you $20 million for your share, or you give me $20 million for my share. We're even partners. And he told me, Abe, I'll give you $3 million, or I'll put you to jail. That's the only offer. That's why I'm now in jail.
Where are you?
We don't have a... Oh, what, sorry?
No, that explains it.
Yeah, we didn't understand, but now we understand.
I was confused in the first part, but then it made sense.
We have
all clear?
Mr. Hirschfeld, because we don't have time, we didn't know you'd be calling in. There is limited time, but there's only time for a follow-up
I
question.
just want to say I hope we don't get cut off again. The last time he was
No,
abruptly...
you won't get cut up. And you see when you...
I believe a black gentleman the last time needed to use the phone and cut you off.
You get off that phone there.
Howard.
Yes.
You see, about 30 years ago, the peace treaty between President Saddam and President Begin and Jimmy Carter, I organized, and I was the signer of the peace treaty. and I'm sitting now in jail, and Yasser Arafat will do nothing. He's so happy, he's looking forward.
We only have a time for a follow-up question from Dracula
I
Gottfried.
think
Go ahead.
Yasser Arafat's a little busy.
Yes, Dracula Gottfried.
Is it hard being a Jew in prison around all of those schmatzes?
Yeah. But I am in prison. The best thing I have in prison, almost every prisoner listens to Howard Stern. I don't know why, but they must have a good...
Is it wonderful being a Jew in prison because everything is free?
Dracula Gottfried.
Is it true you entered prison to get free breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and you didn't have to pay rent?
Howard, you know, the joke that I told you became the symbol of the prison.
What was that joke?
That President Clinton was the hardest worker.
Hey, get off the phone and bring that ass over here. You bring that Jew ass over here right now.
Have any of the black... Dracula Gottfried brings up a good point. Have any of the black or Hispanic or white, for that matter, men try to have sex with you?
No, because my ass is too tight.
Dracula Gottfried, we only have time for one last question. Go ahead.
I heard your rectum is as wide as a basketball hoop.
Well, you know, Joey Adams used to introduce me. Meet my good friend of mine, Abe Hirschfeld. In this country 40 years, but he still speaks like he's arriving next Thursday.
Can you say that all over again? I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, Joe Adams said, meet a good friend of mine, Abe Hirschfeld, who's in this country 40 years, but he still speaks like he's arriving next Thursday.
Oh, this is really embarrassing. We didn't have the mic on. Yes, can you just say it one more time? Just we want to hear the joke on the air.
No. All right, one more time. Thank you.
Yes. Joey Adams hosted me at the Friars Club and introduced me to a good friend of mine, Abe Hirschfeld, who's in this country maybe 40 years, but he still speaks like he's arriving next Thursday.
Oh, damn it. We didn't have the tape rolling. We want it on tape. Can you just please just one more time?
Maybe I should give it on the pussies. Will be better.
No, just say it one more time. We weren't taping.
Okay. Joey Adams hosted me at the Friars Club, and he says, I want you to meet Abe Hirschfeld, who's in this country maybe 40 years, but he speaks like he's arriving next Thursday.
Oh, you still didn't get it? Oh, this is awful. I don't know what the new equipment
All right. Well, anyway, Dracula Gottfried.
Going to hell, Gilbert.
Let me say something. Mr. Hirschfeld, of course, is in prison. What prison are you in, Mr. Hirschfeld?
Now I'm in Rikers Island.
Rikers Island. How old a man are you?
I'm 82.
82 years old.
I'm 82 years old in my head.
Are you a Crip or a Blood?
35 between my legs.
Are you a Crip or a Blood? Who are you more associated with?
I beg your pardon?
The Crips or the Bloods?
I'm with the Tombs.
Anyway, I'm glad you got your message out.
How much more time does he have?
How much more time before you get out?
I don't know. The judge, I have a crooked judge, Gunnerman, and he said he'll keep me in prison till the end of my life.
Mr. Hirschfeld?
My property.
Mr. Hirschfeld, have you ever met Joey Adams?
Yes, I was very close with him.
Okay, so do you have any funny Joey Adams stories?
Yes, you see, he introduced me at the Friars Rose. And he said, I want you to meet a good friend of mine, Abe Hirschfeld. He's in this country maybe 40 years, but he still speaks like he's arriving next Thursday. I'll be arriving. It's easier to arrive with a girl than with you.
I don't know what the hell is wrong with these earphones. What did you just say
Dracula Gottfried. You asked some relevant questions of Mr. Hirschfeld. I have spoken to the attorney, Dominic Barber, who says Mr. Hirschfeld is in prison and should not be.
He should be in prison.
He said to me, and this is a direct quote, he did say that to me, Mr. Hirschfeld. I don't know if that makes you feel any better or worse.
Definitely
Mr. Hirschfeld.
Hold it. It's Dracula Gottfried needs to answer.
Mr. Hirschfeld.
Dracula Gottfried.
In the dark recesses of prison, have you ever remembered meeting Joey Adams?
One more time. Could you tell us the story how Joey Adams introduced you?
Eventually, you guys will learn to speak.
I know, it's really, well, it's our equipment here. Can you just tell us one more time?
Okay, I'll do anything for you.
Thank you.
And Joey Adams roasted me at the Friars Club, and he said, I want you to meet a good friend of mine, Abe Hirschfeld, who's in this country maybe 40 years. Think like he's arriving next Thursday. Soon I'll be arriving next Friday.
It's like an insane asylum in here.
Wait a minute. You know what? Gilbert laughed over it. I did.
You know he did. Mr. Hirschfeld, let me just say that those two beeps that we hear in the background mean that you're on a prison phone, doesn't it?
Yes.
And that means that the authorities could be recording this highly confidential.
Because they're playing
If they have a copy of the Joey Adams story, if they would please send it to me because our equipment failed.
Okay.
But Mr. Hirschfeld, I have heard from Dominic Barber, who is considered one of the top-loaded attorneys in the country, that you are a man who should be freed.
I tell you, the people are suffering so much that I'm not freed. I invented a perfect 100% diet state. Every calls it a fountain of youth. In addition, I have a simple theory which I can straighten.
One last question for Dracula Gottfried.
Yes, Mr. Hirschfeld. Mr. Hirschfeld. Have you ever?
Hello?
Mr. Hirschfeld?
Wait, Mr. Hirschfeld? Hello? They disconnected.
Very important.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dracula Gottfried's powers. Incubus, come to me. Now you will never know what Joey Adams said.
Once I met Joey Adams.
Yes?
He said, even though I arrived from Transylvania 5,000 years ago.
Wait, I didn't get the punchline. Pull him back.
Tell me that story. Anyway, actually, at 82 years of age, to be in prison is... All right, let's go to the rest of the news. And Robin, Gilbert Gottfried here, Richard Jeni here.
Gilbert really is going to go to hell. He's half like a retard.
I thought I was in an insane asylum.
That was horrible.
But a retard eventually would have caught on.
Oh, my God.
Well,
Now you're making fun of me.
You said to him in the Dracula Gottfried voice many things.
Oh, dear.
Many things.
All right, now I'm going to tell you
Home.
something.
I have no home.
Uh-oh.
Hunted.
I'll never get this out.
Despised. Living like an animal.
I have something very
Listen to them.
Oh, God.
Children of the night. That music they make. A spider spinning his web for an unwary prey. The blood is the life, Mr. Reinfeldt. Listen to them, children of the night. What music they make. To die,
Oh, my God.
to be really dead, must be glorious. There are far worse things awaiting man than death. I never drink wine.
He only does the Dracula part. He'll go on forever.
Dracula Gottfried.
Like a monologue.
We couldn't get that on our tape.
All right, you
mind repeating that?
Once
No,
I
it's
met
all right.
Joey Adams.
All right, let's...
Very shocking news here, Howard.
Shocking news. What,
Yeah.
Gilbert has a new routine?
That's the shocking news. He does not have a new routine. Yeah, listen to this. You're going to be shocked, too.
Their eyes were red like his.
If you
will get them for you, master.
Who's he doing now?
That's the whole movie.
Yeah, Dwight Fry.
Oh, okay.
Now you know what he does all day. You kept asking. I got you the answer.
An African-American or an Asian actress who is over 40 is going to have an extremely difficult time getting work in the motion picture industry.
Shocking.
Wow. That's shocking.
What did you go to see on a Broadway show, The Dracula Chronicles from Gilbert Gottfried? Like
You want to put Gilbert on Broadway?
I want to do a limited run Gilbert Gottfried on Broadway where he comes out as Dracula in full makeup and does the whole movie. We do the whole movie right on stage. I'll play one of those characters.
The weirdest thing is you were going to put the guy who farts on Broadway a little while ago.
I'm working on that. Still, I can't get him a visa. That guy's huge. And you could do the Joey Adams story over and over again. Tell me one more time, Joey Adams. Would you be willing to star in a Broadway production presented by Howard Stern?
Or are you too busy?
Or are you too busy being the voice of a paperclip?
Yeah. Are you booked up?
So why don't we take that movie that you do?
Yes.
Get a bunch of actors to work around you, and you play Dracula. Why do I think I'd go see that?
Because you would go see it.
I would see it every day.
You'd be the only one in the audience.
When you do that, I love it. I love when you do Dracula. Dracula and his lawn furniture. Is this lawn furniture?
It's plastic and cheaply made. Look at the trays that collect memorabilia from the Arsenio show.
The only girl I ever had up here was Uma Thurman. Uma.
Gilbert, do Dracula if he was Romanoff, Howard's running coach. Teach him how to run.
You have to run correctly. Lift your legs. Lift your legs. Or you will get shin splints.
Wow.
Me, I can run on the ice.
He runs on ice, the guy.
Watch me run on the ice. The cold.
The cold. The dark. I only run at night. I have never run in the daytime. I only run back to my coffin in the daytime. Once I met Joey Adams.
All right. Robin,
Anyway, the Screen Actors Guild did a survey to find out that Asian and African-American actresses over 40 can't get work in Hollywood. The figures
amazing story.
also show that 62% of all roles go to men, and only 26% of roles go to women.
Oh.
Do you know how many... He's sitting there going, ow! Hey, did you hear about those actresses in the United States?
I just want to say these are two very funny comedians.
They're wild.
Crying and when Johnny Carson used to cry.
Oh, yes.
With that fake tear. He never really cried.
He just dabbed at his eyes.
Yeah.
It's clever stuff.
This Gilbert Gottfried, very funny.
So funny.
Richard Jeni.
It's just a wild man.
When he does Dracula, I just lose it.
I lose it. I lose control.
If he really pretends he likes you, then it would be like,
I am Dracula. Funny stuff.
Dracula. Yeah, he would repeat the big.
Oh, and the other thing was to throw the pencil over his shoulder.
yes.
Joey Adams.
Get rid of his pencil.
Oh, I met Joey Adams. Was that funny? Oh.
You know what I love when you do that, Joey Adams.
Oh.
I met Joey Adams.
No, I didn't even know that you could do Dracula.
Yeah.
I wasn't even aware that you did that.
Now,
Who would know that?
I just read somewhere that you did Dracula.
Is that true? Now,
True story.
I was looking at the paper this morning.
It's a true story. I read the newspaper. You read the newspaper, Johnny? Wow.
Wow.
familiar
What would
with
make you do that?
I don't have a research department. I read the paper myself.
Since I assume that some people who are watching are unbelievably retarded, I have to over-explain everything. Now, if you're not familiar with Dracula, someone who apparently
Dracula was from Transylvania.
Is from which is a fictional place. We should point that out.
Never read the paper and seen Joey Adams' column. he was a comedian. He would print jokes there. Now, we have someone coming up who actually, I read this. He actually he was introduced by Joey Adams.
At a Variety Road.
Robin, what else is in the news? Because this can go on all day.
We were talking about earlier the girl who was sort of kidnapped and tortured.
This is wild.
Yes, it is.
True story.
True story, Johnny. It was in the paper.
Oh, if you don't know.
This is clever stuff.
They picked her up at a mall. The people were actually from this area.
I'm constipated.
Picked her up at the mall, and the abuse almost started immediately after she got into the car. They handcuffed her, drove her to Rhode Island, took her to a motel where they beat her, choked her, and sodomized her.
Now, for those of you who don't know what rape is,
For those of you unfamiliar with the word sodomy.
Now that would be an entrance into somebody's body in a way that is considered unnatural by some.
Against their will.
Some people consider that unnatural.
I read you were raped. That's something I read in the paper.
I read it this morning. True story.
Yeah, true story.
You were raped and sodomized for 24 hours?
Not.
So you were beaten until your eye whites turned red?
Yeah.
That's why. That's
So
very
anyway,
clever.
she was there for several days. They even handed her off to another guy. Now 3 people are under arrest, and I guess she's...
They hand you off to Ed.
This kind of thing happens all the time. A man in Grand Rapids, Michigan, was 17 to 15 years in prison for raping 2 of his foster daughters. Upon learning of his sentence, he then tried to attack a television camera.
Me, the bird of happiness. You have the droppings in your head. The David Rape Bugle. Every story is a
It took 2 deputies to pull this guy off the reporters.
True story, I never had daughters.
No?
I had 3 sons, Ricky, and the other 2.
That's right, I forget their names.
And I hardly had any contact with them. But I cried on TV when they died.
The guy did apologize, though, to his 2
Now, if you don't know what sons are,
child victims.
True story. If you don't know what a son is,
it's if you have a child who's a female and you have another one who is the opposite of that.
I read about my sons in the paper.
True story.
What? I just read it on the way over here tonight.
I know that because I read it. A bishop who married a woman with in one of his
I know Joey Bishop.
Not Joey Bishop. There's a Catholic bishop.
People are booties.
A 70-year-old guy or something, and he decided that this whole vow of chastity thing was a bunch of hogwash.
Right.
So he went to the Reverend Some Young Moon, and he got married in one of those mass weddings. They gave him a Korean bride.
Now, this is true.
He ran off with the Korean bride. Apparently, she's now pregnant. Then he met with the Pope, and he has decided to rejoin the Catholic Church.
The way you read that last story was so good, I'm going to invite you to sit on my couch.
Oh, that's clever. Clever stuff.
So she hasn't seen her husband since he met with the Pope. It's like the Pope made him disappear.
He met the Pope. Was that
true story?
And she says now that she's going to go on a hunger strike.
On a hunger strike.
Until her husband returns.
That's a great monologue.
I don't think that's very good for the baby.
That is.
Jimmy Stewart's here to do bad poetry.
Well, my dog Bo, I stepped on my toe, and the Three Stooges have a guy named Mo.
Oh, dear.
He was the best dog I ever had, and when he died, I was sad.
Ed was a schmo. Ed, you should go on a hunger strike.
That was the second scariest thing besides Groucho, is when Jimmy Stewart came on.
I know, and everyone acted like he was normal. Like what he was doing was funny.
And that thing on his head was real hair.
Oh, yeah.
He never said, what is that thing on your head?
America's beloved Jimmy Stewart. Come on now for 20 minutes and ramble on.
I once had a fish. We put him in a dish. That's my poem.
Now, if you don't know what a poem is, ordinarily words do not rhyme together. And in this particular kind of writing, they do.
And Johnny would never say poem. He would say poem.
A poem.
A poem.
A poem. P-O-L-M. Poem.
He's written a poem.
Pete Marmooney.
He's written a poem.
Gary Condit has given indications he is going to run for re-election in the year 2002.
Yeah. Now, for those of you who have not been following this story, Gary Condit.
His annual fundraiser.
Now, pay attention. This is a wild story.
He, of course, came to our knowledge because of the whole Chandra Levy disappearance. And he now says,
Poinsettia.
even though some of the newspapers in Modesto are calling for his resignation.
The newspapers of Modesto.
I believe that's the Modesto Bean.
The Fresno Bee, the Modesto Bee, they're all bees. And Condit now says to the newspaper,
Ed's a son of a bee.
in response to their calls for him to resign his office, that they are mistaking his silence in public with the fact that he did cooperate with the police
Now, for
fully
those of you who don't know what silence is,
What would that be?
that would be, you don't, many times there are sounds known as noises. The absence of those is called silence.
Sometimes you hear a sound, and that's not silence. It is really well. We're going to have someone come out and talk about this in a minute. This is wonderful.
Have we set this up enough?
President Bush has made a decision on stem cell research. It has now come under fire because a lot of the American public is against limiting stem cell research. But yesterday he said he's made his decision and he's sticking by it. Number 12.
Gilbert, I know you're very upset about this, and I know you want to break out of character
Yes.
and say something
And say something as Gilbert Gottfried.
Go ahead, Gilbert. Julianums. All right, here is
The president making his stupid statement.
here it is. It's a very dumb statement. Because really, there should be stem cell research.
I'm not going to change my mind. I'm the kind of person that when I make up my mind, I'm not going to change it.
Isn't that great?
There's going to be people who've got all kinds of opinions.
No matter what information he collects, he will never listen. He will never change his mind.
I don't care if I'm wrong. I'm not changing my mind about it.
And most people talk like this do not like Jews, so I suggest you mind your P's and Q's.
I hate those no-good cakes.
Now, let me tell you something.
Change my mind about
When Dick Cheney makes up his mind, I don't change my mind.
I gave mine, and I gave it to the country.
I gave my mind to the country.
And that's how I'd be as Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces.
You know what would
If I was
happen?
attacking the country and it turned out that they wasn't actually doing anything, I would have already gone on record and I'd bomb the crap out of them.
Do you know what would happen to Lon Chaney in prison?
What?
Dick Cheney.
There you go. And let me just say hello to Howard, who wants to say hi to Gilbert Gottfried. Go ahead, Howard.
Howard?
Hey, how you doing, Howard? Been listening to you since the NBC days.
All right.
I used to work with Gilbert on Up All Night, and I got a couple of really funny Gilbert stories.
Well, another great milestone in Gilbert's career.
Yes, so.
That show
Yeah.
on cable, yes.
Yeah, it was wild.
We were all sorry to see that go.
You know, when you look at the whole body of Gilbert work, you realize show business is a complete waste of time.
Yes.
Go ahead, yes.
The best story about Gilbert was the time we were doing a shoot, and everybody left. There was nobody left but a couple of crew people, and I go in the elevator to take some equipment down, and Gilbert's standing in the elevator holding an apple. Okay, he was riding up and down in the elevator for like 25, 30 minutes waiting for this girl from the crew to come into the elevator. I think she was like the makeup girl. And he tried to pick her up in the elevator with an apple. It was the most hysterical thing I've ever seen.
All right, thank you.
Well, that was a funny story.
You used the old apple. Who let him through?
That was just as funny as Abe Hirschfeld's Joey.
Yeah,
Yes,
that was an exciting story.
We're going to take a break. We'll be back right after these words.
Listening to the man who taught Rodney King how to parallel park. Howard Stern. You tell me if you think I'm out of my mind, because I don't think I am. The Howard Stern Show.
Hey, what's this? Oh, yeah. I love me. Gilbert Gottfried tomorrow at Caroline's Comedy Club in Manhattan. For ticket information, go to carolines.com. Also, Richard Jeni here today, and he's going to be at Rascals Wednesday and Thursday in West Orange, New Jersey. And he's got richardjeni.com. How come there's not a gilbertgottfried.com, I wonder?
I don't understand any of the .com stuff. Yeah. But did I ever tell you this time I was riding in an elevator with an apple? Oh, this was hysterical.
Robin, let's
He ought to put that on his website.
let's wrap it up because you know what I mean.
I can't get away from that right now.
Exactly. Why bother?
Constipation could be an early warning sign. Of Parkinson's disease. Men who suffer from constipation are more likely to get diagnosed with Parkinson's. Yet scientists have little idea why this is the case.
Gilbert, you're regular, aren't you?
Yes, yeah. So I'm pretty healthy.
Some have suggested the disease may have an effect on the function of the gut long before it manifests itself in the shaking of your limbs.
Very important to move your bowels.
Regularly.
Kelsey Grammer, is he with Camille?
My wife, Camille, has irritable bowel syndrome.
Now, Camille, stop that. There are no windows in the studio.
Camille, we're going to go to a special dinner tonight honoring me, Kelsey Grammer.
Oh, for God's sake, Camille. Please, the Spielbergs are sitting across from me. Oh, for God's sake.
Camille, please, I know you have irritable bowel syndrome, but you can't hold it in.
All of the goldfish are dead now.
Camille, we're going to be introduced to a man named Joey Adams. He's a very famous comic.
He's very weak and he can't breathe well. He needs all the oxygen he can get.
Oh, Camille, you just killed Joey Adams.
Let's go on.
Oh, for God's sake.
Camille.
Our electrical wires are exploding.
Camille, you must be killing John Gottfried.
All right, Camille.
They say he's getting worse. A friend of the former New York crime boss tells us leader that Gotti is suffering.
Oh, now aliens have landed.
Hold it a second. Camille, I'm going to count to 3.
And it is unclear how much longer he will live.
I'm going to count to 3 and see if for 3 seconds you don't have your irritable bowel syndrome. All right, here we go.
Friends and family members have begun to gather at St. John's Regional Center in Springfield, Missouri, where Gotti is being treated.
2.
He was diagnosed with
2.5
and neck cancer in 1998.
Oh, for God's sakes.
A cigarette.
I'll pretend this is not going on.
That dress you're wearing cost $500,000, and now it's ruined.
I think you could control your irritable bowel syndrome if you tried. Honey, let me count to 3. Here we go. Let's try this simple exercise. This is what the doctor told me to do with you. 1, 2, oh!
Isn't it time for you two to start working on your internet show?
Oh, Camille, you're not even trying.
What's that impression?
What are you doing? Doesn't sound like it.
Camille, this is Dracula Gottfried.
Oh,
Dracula Grammar.
you could kill werewolves with those cards.
Oh, dear. The Evangelical Lutheran Church won't make a decision.
We're going into church now. Don't fart.
And committed relationships should be allowed to be ordained.
You killed the minister.
Camille, you're going to meet the Pope today because of my Fraser show. They've invited me.
What a pleasure meeting. Oh, my God, what was that?
Delegates of the church-wide assembly.
I would like to say, hey, what was that sound?
Have voted to study the issue.
Please, I'm an old man.
Of gayness for the next 4 years.
What was that? A bird? Oh, my God. Italy is being attacked.
You are a gay Lutheran minister. You're expected not to participate in gay sexual activity.
Now, you don't know what irritable bowel syndrome is.
Camille, don't do that on the apple Gilbert is holding.
You know, last time we did that on the show, I heard, like, the TV station was afraid of, like, running the part where I said, can you put rolled up newspaper in your rectum? And that was like a big legal discussion.
Yeah, can you imagine?
Yeah, that was like...
That'll send someone over the edge.
Yes.
Anyway, here's a gay activist named Jake, among others, outside of the Lutheran Conference, Howard.
There's someone named Camille who's farting outside.
What number, Robin?
Oh, my goodness. She messed up my hair.
If everyone got to know Jake, your hearts would be changed.
I am gay, and I know that God loves me for who I am.
So there. Indianapolis police say about 50 protesters were outside of this concerning gays in the Lutheran Church.
Hey, now.
So there.
Camille, please, not during the news.
Camille, don't fart on a middle chair.
I hate to bring up the Grand Canyon helicopter tour crash.
Don't fart in the Grand Canyon, Camille. It's deafening.
Oh,
it'll echo.
The helicopter crashed 60 miles outside of Las Vegas.
You just made the helicopter crash, Camille.
And, several people died. It killed 5 New York tourists and the pilot. The only
You
survivor.
killed the pilot, Camille.
The only survivor was Tana Dash.
Could you press your ass cheeks together? Maybe that'll stop.
She was burned over 80% of her body.
You burned 80% of her body.
And she only has a 10% chance of living.
No, she won't even live, Camille.
Camille, I've gotten you the best doctor's money to buy. All of them agree that if you squeeze your ass cheeks, and if I count to 5, and you can hold it in, that's a good exercise.
7 children were orphaned.
1, 2,
of this crash.
3, 4. Oh. All right, that was good.
I'm crying.
I flew them in from Zurich.
A winemaker from northern Italy who...
Please, you'll destroy his wine.
All right, let's finish the news.
Sparked controversy with his Hitler label.
That part was worse than Hitler.
Camille, I've built you a special miniskirt.
He plans to add a Tito to his vintage.
We put charcoal in your miniskirt to absorb the horrible smell, irritable bowel.
He began selling wines with the faces of famous dictators on the label 6 years ago. He will offer Tito
That
wine.
part was worse than the Third Reich.
Tito wine to tourists visiting Italy from the Balkan countries of Croatia and Slovenia.
That wine is destroyed, Camille.
Camille, not on my mother.
Here. The guy rejects claims that he's a fascist or a Nazi.
Mother, this is Camille, my new bride.
And he also offers...
Oh, that was a car backfiring. Ignore it.
Mother? Mother?
He also offers bottles of wine with pictures of Stalin, Marx, Lenin, and Che Guevara on.
Che Guevara. Gilbert's hero.
Oh, dear.
Camille?
Oh, my God.
A man has changed his name to Santa Claus legally.
Camille, I'm going to serve my mother dinner now. I'm going to give her the first course soup. I don't want you to eat any soup because your gas will be horrible. Mother, how is the soup? Mother?
Oh, this is a flaming souffle I'm bringing out. Please don't
David
fall.
Porter was originally banned from taking the name in a state district court, who claimed he may face lawsuits in the future because of it, but the Utah
Try
Supreme
some
Court
crazy glue. See if that
in
helps.
Salt Lake City has decided to okay
I'm
the
putting
name
5
change.
drops of crazy glue in there. Now try to hold it back.
The court said that Porter has the right to select the name by which he is known. Claus says he has a big tummy, glasses, and a big bushy white beard.
Santa Claus.
So he
His
should
beard
have
had
the name.
color before Camille farted on him.
Because he looks authentic. So he's
Right.
now Santa Claus. And
Go ahead, Rob, please.
the Reverend Al Sharpton, I didn't know he was still in jail after he stopped his hunger strike. He is still in jail, and...
Even Al Sharpton can't eat Camille. He's lost his appetite.
Camille, we're going to go visit Al Sharpton. Don't blow one of your farts next to the jail cell because
is he in here?
he'll be released.
And I'm ready to have a big dinner here. Oh, gee, I just lost my appetite.
Yes.
Sharpton is scheduled for release on Friday morning after serving 90 days for trespassing during a protest of the Navy's bombing exercise.
There's some gas trespassing in
He's
here.
going to call us from jail and tell us the Joey Adams story.
on the Puerto Rican island.
Really,
of
one
the
time Joe Adams brought me up.
All right.
Sharpton lost 40 pounds in prison while he was on his hunger strike, and they expect a lot of celebration when he gets out.
I lost the weight when Camille farted in front of me.
Camille, now that we're home alone after visiting Al Sharpton, I just want you to know I had our mansion painted, freshly painted, and if you let out gas, the paint will be ruined. Oh, for God's sake.
Ben Affleck.
You've ruined a Rembrandt on the wall.
Ben Affleck is, of course, in rehab.
Right.
Affleck.
Very sad.
Because
Affleck.
One of our greatest stars.
Affleck.
Yes, Ben Affleck is in the jail. All right, Gilbert, I'm annoyed with you now.
Okay.
It's enough.
Affleck.
He has a gambling and drinking
Affleck.
but they let him out.
I'm going to turn off his mic. Go ahead.
They let him out to go to the 3rd annual annual Teen Choice Awards in Los Angeles.
Right.
Another award show.
Who else is in there? He's in there. Ben Affleck is in there.
Who else is in promises? Danny Bonaducci.
And
Camille.
everybody's in rehab. Camille, Ben Affleck.
Camille, if you could say Affleck with your guess, we can make a fortune. That's it.
Goodness, they sing very
You
somber.
just killed the duck.
A very somber looking.
Camille, if we could teach your ass to talk, perhaps then we'd get some money in it.
Oh my goodness! Took the podium to pick up his surfboard.
And this was Affleck.
For a choice movie actor, offering a few words of thanks. So,
Mr. Gottfried, you're no longer the voice of the duck. We've gotten Camille.
So many people in that rehab.
Could you please demonstrate your...
All right, you've said it.
Finally this morning, American
Everyone said
Pie
it.
2 was the #1 movie at the box office.
Right, American Pie 2.
Shannon Elizabeth, who returned
Great actress.
in her role as Nadia, says she talks about playing that character once again.
With the accent.
Yeah.
What a fabulous accent she does.
It seemed like in the first one, I was the only one that didn't get catty, jealous, angry, something. And I felt like maybe that's an American thing, and she's European, and that's the European
I
thing.
think you're reading too much into this group.
To just be open with who you are, and so I think that was my biggest challenge, not necessarily that she changed so
Challenge doing that.
much, but to keep
Challenge was keeping those fake breasts in your bra.
a lot of things about her life.
All right, come on.
Oh,
Enough of her.
goodness. Helen Hunt gets to work with Woody Allen in the film The Jade Scorpion. Here she talks about the terrifying idea of doing a dialogue-filled scene opposite Woody, face to face.
It must have been terrifying.
Because you don't want to be the guy 4 lines before the end who messes up. You don't want to
The
be
guy.
the
That's interesting.
guy who's happy with the take when he is. But that didn't happen, and he...
Camille, don't fart on Ellen Hunt, please, because she's a very famous actress.
You're so...
But she farted in the middle of the scene. That's crazy.
All right.
Kelsey,
Is that it, Robin?
you can't bring her here. She farted.
And finally, Angelina Jolie is in Original Sin with Antonio Banderas, and she was asked, why is this film so filled with sex?
Because Antonio can't speak English.
It fills the story. It's necessary for the story. It all tells a story. So I never saw it as sex. I don't see it.
Oh, okay. That's it. All right.
It's not sex.
It's a story. A story about sex.
And that's
All right, thank you, Robin. Let me give a plug to these two very funny gentlemen. Richard Jeni, funny guy. Richard Jeni, this Wednesday and Thursday, Rascals Comedy Club in West Orange, New Jersey. For more information, 973-736-2726. Go to richardjeni.com, Jeni. Gilbert Gottfried tomorrow at Caroline's Comedy Club in Manhattan. For ticket information, go to
Very quiet
carolines.com.
during his plug.
Yeah. During the plug, it's serious business.
Be very quiet. Gilbert's plug.
Don't forget the E! Show tonight, Mitts on a Misfit. Watch the time-lapse excitement as one sleep-deprived, delirious contestant wins $1 million. Who was the last man standing? Find out tonight on E! It's actually a good visual for you to check out. Camille will be farting on Rhode Island later today.
Xin chào các mọi người, và lên bên em về một chiếc Hyundai Tucson, xe sản xuất 2018 bản 2.0 tiêu chuẩn. Và Tucson là một trong những dòng xe của Hyundai, xe 5 chỗ rất là bán chạy, ship top hàng tháng rất là nhiều. Xe này phiên bản màu trắng rất chuẩn của Tucson luôn, màu trắng và màu đỏ mận. Đấy, và em sẽ quay tổng thể chiếc xe này. Con này rất là tiếc một chút là nó lại bị búc sinh vào phần sắt xi đấy, vì vậy là sẽ có một mức giá rất là ưu đãi thôi, tầm lên.
Bye.